G'day, Hawks fans. Welcome. How good is it after a win?
Oh, much better feeling than talking about a loss, that's for sure.
Goodness me, we're up and about.
All right. Well, we'll get you out from under that hood in a minute, Reece. But welcome to those who are joining us once again. Talking Hawks, we're not Sith Lords. We are connecting Hawks fans, sharing our passion about the Hawks with some intelligent footy conversation, having some laughs along the way. So, boys, Chris, Reece, welcome. Bit of buoyancy now all of a sudden. Look at the Hawks fans getting around it and enjoying some optimism, dare I say it. Seeing the youth injection coming through. What are your first thoughts?
A week is a long time in footy, and where do you start? Like, it was just a different team out in the field, just the energy and the tackling efforts, and just like you said, just it created a lot of excitement within the fans, I think.
The cliche king, a week's a long time in footy. What do you got, Reece?
I think the Hawks did the pay-per-view for the Floyd Mayweather-Logan Paul fight and decided to put a better spectacle on, and that put us out on the field a whole lot tougher. So whatever the media wants to say about it, clearly it got the desired result. We all feel for Mitch Lewis, of course, but for the 22 boys that were out there, we didn't go up the ladder. We've still got the same draft pick, and we beat Sydney. Couldn't ask for much better, I don't reckon.
Win-win-win.
That's not bad, is it? So we were debating before the show kicked off about whether we should call this Talking Hawks tonight. Reece, what was your brainchild there?
Yeah, well, we can call this the Talking Hawks, or we could call it the Jai Newcombe Appreciation Hour, because goodness gracious me, the men went out there and just became a battering ram, and it was amazing to see.
Yes, it was. Yep. It was brilliant. Had us all up and about, I'm sure. So, look, Nuke, well done, son. No doubt even though he's named in the extenders, surely he's in again. But tonight, fans, we'll talk about the Sydney Hawks game. We'll touch on the Box Hill guys, injuries, what's happening, a few other bits and pieces around the club, but also the upcoming game versus the Bombers. So I've heard Derm's been around the club just, I don't know, talking about some lines and some sand and some, I don't know.
If I see Richie Vandenberg in Tassie, I'd be very worried if I were the Bombers. So,
I reckon.
Well, he's on the board, so he should be down there, just sort of getting around the boys, getting them up and about. Yeah. But hey, fans, let us know where you're calling in from tonight. What's on your mind?
This is the one. Thanks, Pete.
We were trying to let Chris forget that, Pete. Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, well, the one thing from Chris that he's contributed during the week or during the game, and he was a bit shattered based on his tipping results, but I know he did call out. First, we were all over social media. We asked Sir Swamp Thing about is Newcombe breaking the record? Is he on debut breaking the record for tackles? And sure enough, at Chris Green _83 called it here first, and then Sir Swamp Thing just fobbed us off and claimed it as his own. But
and then the commentators jumped all over it as well after they got the mail. Yeah.
So you called it at the 12 tackle mark. So well done, Chris. All right, let's crack into that Sydney Hawks game, boys. Give me your first thoughts, and then we'll go to a few things from the fans.
Well, do we talk briefly about the little bit of boxing and the late withdrawal? Okay,
go on.
What bit of media pump up about it, wasn't it? Because they're saying, which media guy shouted it out? Barrett, wasn't it? Talking about he wasn't wearing a helmet, rah rah rah. But anyway. Yeah, not what we expected, but changed the game a bit for us, didn't it?
Clarko has got free rent in his head. Don't worry. He's obsessed with trying to be the early pro and call Clarko and the club's demise. I don't know what his beef is, but anyway, look, I'd love to get him and Clarko in a bit of a pre-game warm-up this week. See if that can happen at training.
Well, there's lots of celebrities doing boxing matches. Maybe we could tee it up. I reckon be a good matchup, Clarko and Barrett.
Clarko,
they're organising. Sorry,
responsible and wear a helmet, but you almost might go in the ring with that one just to enjoy the combat. Anyway, go on, Reece.
Yeah, there's talks that AFL boxing matches are going ahead at the end of the year with like Gary Ablett and Wayne Carey being asked and declining. So I'm not sure if the purple-headed warrior would want to go up against Clarko, but tell you what, we could get that going. There'd be a few that Clarko would want to beat up, but in a weird sort of way, structurally, it might have been a touch of an advantage because too tall at the SCG is probably not the right way to go. And I just want to make it clear that nothing that we're talking about the boxing is in any way saying that we're glad that Mitch Lewis was hurt in any way. We hope Mitch is all right, and we hope he's back in the side ASAP and performing well. What we, I think, appreciate from these sort of stories is that there was a response. There was a response in toughness. Boxing is tough. Old chubby young me ain't doing any boxing at the moment. Maybe I need it for a bit of concrete, but clearly they got the Hawks up and about. So I think in probably 2-3 years' time when we reflect on these sort of wins, I think, everyone's going to have a lot of sympathy for Mitch Lewis, but you can't deny that it had an effect. We went out kind of like the 2014 grand final. We went out there in the first quarter and we bashed them up. Metaphorically, of course. We didn't go out there with our fists, but we intimidated their young guys and they couldn't cope, and it just set us on our way, and I just thought it was brilliant.
It's been done all week in the media, so we're definitely not making light of it, and concussion is very serious, and we don't want to see that for anybody. But so putting that behind us, look, first half of the season for mine, they just really jumped out of the blocks very hard. We called it last week, Chris. We thought Tom Mitchell may have a cracking game, given the talk of potential openness to trade, playing his old club, all the doubters, everything going on. In comes Nuke, gives him a bit of a chop out in the middle, and look at that, a little bit of a role change and tinkering in the midfield. And Titch, half-time, 21 disposals, 5 tackles, 2 clearances, 260 metres gained. And 1 goal. Which all season, his meters gained, first half of the season, it's been slowly climbing. By the end of the game, 34 disposals, 7 tackles, 3 clearances, 444 meters gained, and he was still on 1 goal. But geez, he nearly coughed up a lung when he was trying to get a handball off Dylan Moore inside 50, streaming in for 1 more. So well done, Titch, for showing everyone how it's done. And look. That aside, he definitely didn't lower his colours, but we want to see these senior players get that revitalised game from the youth injection. We're going to see more of this. And if there is tough calls at the end of the season for someone like Titch to go out, I hope they go up and about, and it's only going to help in terms of currency and trade value in a really ruthless fashion. But as a Hawk supporter, I'm very proud of Titch for flying the flag.
I think actions speak louder than words, and he just went out and did it. So, we know what he's capable of, and he probably has been slightly below that level this season. But, fantastic for him to respond like that. And, I think that'll just quickly put all the media to bed and just, play out the season and teach all these kids how to go about it.
Yeah, in a perfect world, in a perfect media, I agree with you, Chris, but they're not going to let this Tom Mitchell thing go now that it's out there. But speaking of actions louder than words, boys, Ned Reeves rolled his ankle on the Thursday. Jonathan Ceglar got the call up, and boy, oh boy, didn't he take it with 2 hands. 20 touches from a ruckman. Now, we've all spoken in the past that we're not fans of ruckmen having the ball in their hand unless they're lining up. Segs and Ben McEvoy, good kicks for goal, but 20 disposals, something like 14 contested possessions. He was unreal. Best game I've seen him play for the Hawks, and maybe the, not the threat, but maybe the possibility that it might be his sort of last year around has really spurred him into gear. So performances like that can't be the expectation for every game, but geez, it was pleasing.
Like you said, he was sitting on the outer. He potentially could have been out for the rest of the year had Ned Reeves kept his form, and that could have been his last opportunity to keep his spot in the side. And he went out and earned it. So it's going to be an interesting rest of the year and see how this ruck situation plays out.
Clarko talked about the pressure coming through the group and performance for spots, which is great. It's what we want. And look, probably breaking news here, talking Hawks, there may be a delay to this week's game. We've just heard on the back of Clarko saying a mid-season time to ponder, got him up and about. We might just push this game out a little bit so we can have another break for a week, just ponder, and we could be back for a ripper against the Bombers. So jokes aside, look, I'm excited for this week. But look, the game ending up 89-51, 14 goals, 5. That's a solid performance in front of goals as well. And that's our biggest winning margin by a country mile. We looked at that. It was 1 point in round 1 of single figures. I can't recall in round 6, I think. And then, a 38-point victory. Very solid and a sign of things to come. And I think maybe we've been experiencing some experimenting. There's obviously chemistry, but you're bringing in these young kids. And if anything, maybe our position on the ladder is nowhere near the reflection of where we are. And I'm not taking the lid off here, but I just think we've been talking it up all year. And it's very exciting. And another debutant this week, but that shortly. Any other thoughts from the fans here, Chris?
I just want to say, just the way we started the game, we were just switched on from the word go, and that's been our downfall for a lot of this year, that first quarter, and just being behind in that first quarter, chasing tail. So to start out of the blocks the way we did, we just need to bring that this week against the Bombers, and it would be nice if we can not come from 30 points behind like we did against them in round 1.
Round 1, it was. I'll get to that. I've done a little bit of digging. So, CJ, getting you mentioned, Brett Lear, you legend, giving us big shout outs from the UK. He's a valued member of the Talking Hawks crew, but giving us some good plugs online. So thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
What else did you boys like from the game?
If I can, I'd like to throw up just 3 names that the media, because the media grab onto one player per game and sort of run with it, but Hawks fans know the contributions of the 3 blokes I'm going to mention. I'm going to start with Dylan Moore, another 18 disposals. He seems good for 18 disposals and a couple of goals, Morey, but his overhead marking for a guy his size is actually unreal. He took, I think it was Tom McCartan under the ball on the wing and just put both Dukes up, and McCartan got nowhere near him. And I think it was just another level to his game where we sort of went, wow, his tank's really expanding, and he copped a little bit of criticism after sort of the first month of footy. But as far as sort of high half forwards go, I think he's come on extremely well. A guy that we've spoken about and a lot of fans like to call the whipping boy, Daniel Howe's first half, I think needs a big shout out. He was hitting targets. I think he's played the best role anyone's played on the wing in that first half for the Hawks this year. And also Will Day in his return.
Yeah.
And Will Day in his return, he only had the 12 touches, but he wasn't beaten at all. He's the most mature 20-year-old I think we've had at the Hawks for a very long time. And once he gets his running and kicking game back, him and CJ on the flanks with Jack Scrimshaw, goodness gracious, mate. Good luck stopping that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Jack Scrimshaw is just in the discussion of trade steals now. He is nearly one of the biggest, cheapest pickups of all time. He's a star.
Yeah, he was a number 7 draft pick for a reason, and he just didn't work out at the Suns. So Thank you very much. I know everyone wants to call him Grant Birchall 2.0. He might have Birch covered for overhead marking. I'm not sure I've seen the old Tassie Devil go for too many grabs above his melon, but very impressed with Jack. And geez, that's a frightening defense that we're building at the moment with DGB to come in, and of course James Sicily hasn't played all year.
Yeah. Birch has definitely got him covered in the Potbelly stakes this year, so he can have the 2.0. I mean, he can have the 1.0 there. Daniel Howe though, 17 disposals in that first half, and 2 clearances. It was cracking for 376 meters gained. It was a ripper first half, so good pick up there, Reece. All right, boy. Quick whip around the fans. Any comments there to note, Chris? Because we've got one thing I'm interested to talk about. Craig McRae was brought up in terms of the coaching position with the Pies. So another one perhaps under our nose that his quality just come into the club, and I know we advocate that. We just want to. I think Jeff came out again, Kenneth, and talked about just looking to try and groom every single coach who comes into our system to potentially become a senior coach. Love hearing it. It hurts a little when we lose them, but geez, if it's getting the best out of each assistant coach as they come through the ranks, it's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, well, effectively, you've got these assistants who are as good as a head coach, and we've got a few of them under the wings all the time. So, just a magnificent system Hawthorn's built under Clarko, and yeah, hopefully he hangs around a bit longer. I think that win against Sydney's just sort of cemented how important it is to keep Clarko around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, since Clarko got to the Hawks, he's preached soldier in, soldier out, soldier in. I didn't know that would apply to his coaches as well. But it's 2012 was the last time a coach won the flag who wasn't an assistant at Hawthorn. So Clarko's clearly doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, just before we move on from the game that's just been, which was a ripper.
Just a quick shout out to Frosty, though, too.
Yes.
Frosty on Buddy, huge game. Buddy was on in that first quarter, I felt, and then he just quickly got him under wraps and held him down for the rest of the game. It's good effort.
Yep.
Yeah, Ben King was teaching him a lesson in the Gold Coast game, and for the first 5 minutes, he was doing the same thing on Bud, and then he went to Bud's back shoulder and just brought out the sponges and gave him a bath. So it was good to see, Frosty.
Yeah.
Does it make you guys wonder if Kyle Hartigan automatically comes back into the team, or does it really depend on our opponent?
Well, yeah, not in the team this week. Is he clear of suspension yet?
No.
Is he still on the week?
No, one more.
So he played in the scrimmage on the weekend. So we might segue on the back of that. What we've got is, here we go. I can't help you this one, Sam. Just showing my years as well. But yeah, I agree with you. Seeing old Mark Graham numbers. Yep. It is nice when they get rejuvenated and put in a different part of the ground. It can do some things with your head. But look, it's So when we beat the Bombers, I was having a look. So we had that team who've come from 39 point down at the end of the first half. Hold on, let's do this justice. I should have got the video queued up for that, shouldn't I? There was some.
Yeah, we probably could have put that footage on tonight. I'm sure everybody.
Shout out to whoever. Yeah, shout out to whoever put it on TikTok with the "Here Comes the Boom" music. That was quite good too.
Yeah.
All that during the week blowing up, which was very funny.
Yeah, so love it. After the wrap up,
I did watch it. I did watch it more than once.
The plenty of viral clips of CJ to come in the years ahead, I'm sure. So yeah, but Bombers in round one, we were down by 39 points at halftime. So in our third quarter was 8 goals straight to 1 goal for. So we were then down by 1 point at 76-75 going into the last quarter. Got over the line by the 1 point in that game. It was a nice way to start the season. We had Hartigan, Harry Morrison, Warple, Hanrahan, and named but did not play Connor Downey in his debut at the AFL level. So Tyler Brockman and Tim O'Brien were part of that team, have been named in the extended team for this week. So new players already in the list that's been named, possibly in this round, new players we'd see against the Bombers would be Josh Morrison, potentially Lachlan Bramble, well done, son, Jai Newcombe, Nash and Jekka. So they're the different faces that might be in the mix. But what's your thoughts, gents? We've got Morrison out with an injury, hamstring, and Warple on suspension. That was rough for mine.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised the club didn't challenge the Warple tackle.
Why is that?
Maybe they didn't think they were going to win the appeal. I really don't know. There's been quite a few appeals successful this season. So, yeah, I'm a bit flabbergasted as to why they didn't do it. But What do you think about that one, Reese? I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, surprised that we didn't challenge. Does Warple need the week off potentially? I mean, he's not going to be in Brownlow contention with all due respect to Warps, but maybe, the bye wasn't one of our best on the weekend, although he didn't play badly. No one did on the weekend, real team performance. But, we cop it on the chin. My more surprise was how does he get done for that? And Callum Mills did the exact same thing, I think, to Warple in the middle of the ground. And Warple's head looked like it hit the ground before his shoulder did. But, look, we've got David McKay in the tribunal, I think, still, as we're talking now, and we don't know what the hell's going on with the MRO, so sometimes you just got to cop it and move on, and like Clarko says, soldier out, soldier in.
Yep, I don't mind.
Possibly just the carryover points possibly not worth risking, I don't know.
Sometimes I don't have that anymore, mate.
The club does choose not to challenge, but look, trust the club. Look, it is what it is. I don't mind getting another game into maybe a Lachie Bramble as a result. Maybe running through the mid. So who do we have? Scotty there mentioning Bramble, good Sunbury boy. There we go. So look, he is touted as somebody that will give us a real lift. And prior to going out with injury earlier in the year at the VFL level with Box Hill, he was having some absolute blinders. And I know it was a bit of Sam Mitchell. He went in the pre-season supplementary selection for us. So under our nose training, and there was a bit of just keep an eye on this kid and just keep it on the down low. And then we've nabbed him. So exciting to see Lachie Bramble. And did you see the video that the Hawks released of him talking to his mum and dad?
Yep.
And then
they're brilliant, those videos.
They are. And the club's
one of the things about the game I think everyone loves. So
definitely the emotion behind it, the family, so much gone into it. It is great to show the behind the scenes there. But the club have come out and said debutant, and then he said I'm playing to mum and to dad. So I think Bramble, even though he's named in the extended, it's 100% he's in the team. You'd have to just looking at all of that information.
I think they did the same with Downey's ringing the parents, didn't they? Even though he didn't play.
No boy. Oh, please don't.
Anyway, I expect him to play. I'm looking at the list, the extended squad, and I reckon he's in. Like you said, I think he's playing. Oh, Matt Frozen.
Cousins is a good.
I hope so.
Cousins is a good replacement for Warple, and he said Bramble seems a good replacement for H.Morrison, who, by the way, was quite good in his first quarter and a half and kicked a good goal for us. So hopefully Harry's back ASAP, and hope Lachie goes well.
Yes.
Yep.
100%. So Sunday 3:20. Stephen Gillam was telling me the stadium is going to be full down there. Unitaz almost haven't played down there for a long time.
Have they even played there?
No.
No, I don't. Well, I can't tell you 100%, but I don't think they have. So, and it's a strange ground to play at, and you think all the clubs should have worked it out by now, but for whatever reason, we just have that huge advantage of knowing how to play the ground. So we're already throwing a few goals in front.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think so. I was surprised we didn't see a sneaky Callow get announced, just the Tasmanian lad. That would have been a nice homecoming, but maybe we can get some Talking Hawks fans down there when we can travel. It's a bit disappointing when we get thrown to Tassie and we can't get down there. But so, boys, what do we need to see this week versus the Bombers?
You up for that one, Reese?
Oh, yeah, I'll go first. No worries. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the Bombers are an interesting case for mine because they seem to be one of those sides who plays their quality of opponent. Their comeback against West Coast, back against the wall, young kids, just took it up to them and got the job done. I feel like we might turn this one into a bit of a scrap. Just given like Essendon's game against Carlton, as much as it was high scoring, not a lot of defense, but there you go from Brett about Bombers in Tassie. But I think what I want the Hawks to see, I just want to see the intent of last week. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same result. I know that sounds quite cynical, but we had a good win, and I think sitting here expecting us to win every game is a bit naive. So if we can go out there with 95% of the intent that we had this week, don't let that be a fluke and take it right up to the Bombers, who I think are exceeding everyone's expectations. And I think our half-back line, like this week, need to stand up and repel a lot of Essendon's attacks. They've got some more out-of-form forwards than the AFL media want you to believe. So I feel like Blake Hardwick, CJ, Jackie Scrimshaw, I feel like these guys could have big days. And I think Will Day, CJ, and Blake Hardwick all had 25-plus touches in round one. So I'd expect them to do the same. And fingers crossed we get a big win in Tassie. And the Bombers' first game in Tassie is a sad one. So fingers crossed.
Here we go. Late change news, potentially. I don't know about the smiley face there, but it could be. We will see. I've got to find a way to get down there if that happens.
We were hoping, but he'd have to be out in the extended squad, I think, to sneak in.
Because we play the Bombers in the VFL too this week, is that right? I believe we do.
Yeah, it is at Windy Hill this week, Box Hill, and it's 11 o'clock on Sunday, 11:05 for the bounce on KO. It's only players and essential staff only, so you can't get inside the venue.
There you go. But I don't know who Essendon's reserves key defenders are, but good luck stopping Jackson Callow and Emerson Jecker together.
I reckon. And will Mitch Lewis be playing as well then, if he's not named in our team?
I don't know.
Concussion was early in the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe it was Tuesday. So if they play on Saturday, it'll be his 11th day and they need 12 out. Yeah.
No, both games are on Sunday. So if he's not a look into the AFL team, then I don't think
he should be available.
Okay, someone can down the numbers for us. Check the days there. But, it's interesting against the Bombers. Chris, let's throw I'll have a look through the fans. What are your thoughts on what we need to do against the Bombers?
Oh, it's pretty simple, I think, and that's what won us the game against Sydney. It's win the midfield battle and get the ball, get first use of the ball. So they're missing a few plays this week, got a few ins and outs. I don't see why we can't be favourites for this game. I'd be interested to have a look, actually.
Yeah, I think it would have shortened quite a bit after that Sydney result, but definitely
moving the game from the MCG to Tassie. Like there's lots of stuff going in our favour at the moment. So I don't, like you said, don't want to let the lid off, but your confidence is just rising, and having that win will fill the kids full of confidence too.
And crippling a rival's finals ambitions just sounds really beautiful for what's going to be a dreary old Sunday down here in Victoria. So. I hope we can get the job done. They've got a few back, the Bombers, but I mean, the beautiful part of that is the ones that are coming back have been out for a while. The Sam Draper, Zach Reid types. So they might be underdone. Ceglar and McEvoy might get Draper in the middle and win the contested ball, win the tackles. I think we've won both of those stats twice against Adelaide and against the Swans and won them both. Sometimes this complicated game of footy can be really simple. So get your hands on the footy, and if you can't, make sure the guy that's got it doesn't get rid of it easily. And that comes back to Jai Newcombe and Tom Mitchell, 21 tackles between them. And when you've got that in the midfield, it just sets us up so much better. So, yeah, I think a lot of toing and froing and a lot of theories, but get the ball. And if you can't, make sure they can't get it out easily. Zach Merritt just signed for 6 years. Let's make that first week a really difficult one for him. And we can't forget that we've got to keep an eye out on Darcy Parish, who's probably in the top 3 for the Brownlow at the moment. Big call, but that's probably a conversation for another day. He's been huge. So a lot to look at. I'm not sure if there's a lot to worry about, though. I don't know if I'm really confident because of the result 6 days ago, or just really don't like the Bombers and hope we kick them. So take those things, put them together.
They're going to be absolutely filthy that we beat them round one, and that's going to be killing them. So they're going to want their revenge.
I like that little recap.
You just quickly spat out that the VFL game, Matt. Sorry, so I was just looked. We're 3:20 for the AFL match. Did you say Box Hill's early?
11:05, yeah.
So we're virtually going back-to-back games on KO. I think that's a good 6 hours of footy on Sunday.
There we go.
Right, better ring the missus and let her know I'll be unavailable. She'll love that.
There was a question here around Jono O'Rourke and from Sam. Just comparing the Hanrahan scenario and perhaps not being able to fit in. It's interesting. Jono O'Rourke, good talent from GWS before he donned the boots for the Hawks. I don't recall the number of games he may have played for the Hawks, but I think the promise was a lot more. I actually think Hanrahan probably is a better fit than O'Rourke, and I think he will get more of a look in. It's probably finding that balance at the moment for mine. In our forward line, I think that's where I like seeing him the most. He's pretty switched on and pretty handy. He's shown flashes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. When he came out and kicked 3 goals or whatever for the first couple of games of the season, it was like, yes, he's finally arrived. But it's good to have him on the list and being available when we need him. But it's to fill that permanent spot. And what is his role? What position is he going to hold down? Yeah, it's a tough one to sort of answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Chris nailed it there, not knowing what his best position is. And if COVID and the shortening of list sizes or the threaten to shorten list sizes has taught us anything, it's that, to be on an AFL list, you need to be above average or elite in a couple of key areas. And Ollie's not there yet, but, as Hawks fans, fingers crossed that he gets there. We don't want to sit here and go, well, we hope they don't make it, whether it's Ollie or whether it's anyone else. So a bit more development in him if the Hawks think that there's enough there to develop. But I think he's probably, out of the small forwards, he's probably third in line, and we've only got room for 2 at this stage. But if he plies his trade and keeps going, he could probably become number 2. We don't think he's going to pass Luke Breust as number 1. So the second spot's there. It's up to Ollie, Josh Morris, Tyler Brockman for if and when he comes back in these types to take that spot. So it's there if you want it.
And we did see Brockman, really come out of the gates hard. I think he was he our leading goal kicker in the first few rounds? Up to round 4, he was probably in our top 2, definitely.
Dylan Moore kicked a lot of goals early. Kicked 3 against the Bombers in that third quarter. So,
well, but when there's no, very little expectation for a rookie coming in, he did come out the gate very well and gave us a lot of reason to be excited. So he's definitely challenging for that spot. Did hear that he's come back from WA. I think courtesy Mark McGowan today.
You want to run with that one, Matt? Lauren Smith jumping in with the I'd take Moore and Brockman over Hanrahan. So it's a tough one. Where does he play?
Sorry, Chris. I think to connect what Lawrence just said there, Hanrahan's probably in between those two, as in Moore is the high half forward who takes grabs. Tyler Brockman, we want to turn into our crumbing small forward, circa what we had Cyril and Paul Puopolo. We're not suggesting that he needs to be as good as those two, because that's a ridiculously high bar to set. But Hanrahan's probably, he's not the high half forward and he's not the number 1 crumbing small forward. So, like we said before, what is he? Perhaps we're not so sure yet. So I'd probably have those 2 boys ahead of him. But like we said, if Ollie keeps plying his trade, there's absolutely no reason why he can't be in the side. So stick at it, Ollie, I reckon.
Yeah, a lot of great attributes. And I think, agree with your sentiment around the sort of overhead mark with Moore and whatnot, that score involvements. And, if he's helping straighten up, he's crumbing, things like that, I think he is. It's a nice assessment that he's sort of in between the two in some of what he does. So it might be just coming down to matchups. And do we have a defensive forward role at the moment? I'm not clear on that. Could he be playing that? He was, someone commented on his tackles. So, your ability to stick tackles. I don't think Brockman at the start was sticking a lot of tackles either. But look, it's just about the focus and the discipline and what the role is in week to week, I think.
That's it. And don't underestimate Dylan Moore's maturity. We had the joke before that Titch was coughing up a lung when Dill wouldn't give it off to him. But you could tell that he saw Mitch and he went, don't worry, mate, I've got this. I'll kick it. And he kicked it. So he's got a footy brain, Dylan, which is good to see.
No.
That's it. And then if he hadn't missed it, I'm sure he would have put the hand up and gone, mate, I didn't see you. But,
we're still sitting on these players. We've got Seamus Mitchell sitting in the background. He isn't getting close. Jack Saunders, who's very quick and, very interested to see how he'll go at the top level. So it's good to have this problem. But yeah, it could come down to the opponent we match up on and how we want to play our forward structure.
A wet day down there.
I don't like the raining.
No, not ideal. But look, I think that attitude, it seems like the intent was just there from that first bounce. And, bringing that is going to take us along, regardless of conditions. It's going to go a long way. And to Daniel's point here around Mitchell, he's going back to it. Good on you for giving yourself a pat on the back. We like to do that too. Mitchell, I agree. Daniel's got a great point here with how damaging he's being, and we've seen his meters gain continue to grow. So, look, I'm still not 100% sold on Mitch aiming for 20 kicks a game, but obviously with some different inside and outside mid formations where Mitchell may be a part, it does change how we use him. And if he's got the space to kick, I'd rather that than him just jamming it on the boot that we saw a lot of, and probably some turnovers as a result earlier in the season. So things are changing.
Yeah, and in a strange kind of way, if Mitch is throwing it on the boot, I'd much rather him kick it into the ground and let the ball bounce and let Dylan Moore, let our smalls go to town, because kicking it up in the air, not to the forwards' favour. We've got two young talls. Well, we've effectively got four with Jacker and Jackson Callow sitting in the wing. So every tall defender that's playing on these guys are going to be probably faster and stronger. So contested marks inside 50 aren't going to be our strength. But, a young, quick guy, especially Cozzy, his agility's fantastic. I'd probably trust Cozzy to beat. He's probably going to play on Jaden Laverde this week. I'd rather have Cozzy beat him with the ball along the ground than probably in the air. Jaden's having a good year. So, Mitch, if you're going to throw it on the boot and you want to listen to an idiot in a flannel talk about you, just kick it along the ground, son.
Yeah. I like
and
it.
you're in Bombers colours. What are you doing?
Mate, I'm in a shambles. I need to have a good hard look at me. I need to buy. Goodness me.
Reese will be back shortly. It's interesting, even that tinkering though, because Bramble does seem to be quite composed as well. So if he's good as an outside mid, can run, does enjoy a little bit of space, but he's good in traffic too. It'll be interesting just watching that next little ingredient into the midfield mix there. So
self-proclaimed good with the ball. Give me so good ball use, can go inside mid if he needs to. But the fact that he's played with Newcombe for the first half of the season at Box Hill as well, they're going to have a bit of chemistry there. So that'll be good to watch.
Well, the one probably Segs and Big Boy taking those marks, if we are just lobbing it in, those two have probably been, sadly, the standouts.
Well done, Daniel.
Marks, maybe not on a lead, but just when it does get bombed in. So if with Segs and coming off a very good game last week and Big Boy are down there, it might cause the Bombers a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, they've had to really improvise their backline this year with Michael Hurley going down. Cale Hooker decided after 5 years of playing forward to actually start kicking them, which is good for him. Hopefully not good for us coming up against him this week, but I'll back Frosty to calm him down. So Jaden Laverde's had to really go back. I think there is a bit to say about exploiting Jordan Ridley in the air. Yeah, he's a good intercept marker, but if you can get him on your back shoulder, I feel really confident that Cozzy, or especially Big Boy, if he can move forward, or Ceglar, to just go up to Jordan and go, I'm having you, which would be really nice. And I don't think that Essendon's rebounding defenders, barring Nick Hind, are going as well as the media want to tell you to. Maybe I'm just saying this because I'm way too confident after a win. I'm not sure, but the Bombers are a young side. We're a young side. It's going to be good to see kids versus kids, and if it comes down to experience versus experience, I'm going to back the Hawks in every time.
Yep, like you said, on paper they're not looking that strong. So it just fills me with confidence, and hopefully we can deliver. It'd be nice to beat them twice in a year. Shut up, all our Essendon mates.
Well, again, and the sign of maturity is just the little things. Can we back it up week after week? We did drop off a little bit in the third quarter, but solid performance last week. Newcombe, all right. Peter's on our case. we haven't really done the Nuke justice yet. So who's got some Duke Nukem?
Well, Reese wanted to pull our dedicated to him.
Yeah, I'll start with an apology to Nuke for every time I said in the mid-season draft that taking him at pick 2 makes no sense. I was completely wrong. I apologise profusely. You look fantastic in Johnny Platton's number 44 or Cameron Stokes' 44 for all the younger viewers. And he fit in beautifully for every time we for every inch of faith that the Hawks put into him is 100% justified, and I hope that he has a good performance. We're not saying he needs 14 tackles a game, Jesus, but yeah, we hope that he's going to get picked again, and there you go, 20 plus. Geez, that'd be handy. Jude Bolton will be out on the record, so yeah, would give Jude Bolton something to talk about. He wasn't giving us a hell of a lot of praise on Friday night. Big Jude, bit salty that we beat his boys, but that's all right.
Isn't it nice?
But,
I think he was getting a bit threatened by the tackle record going on. So,
yeah, for Jai to have 22 pressure acts and for those to be 14 stuck tackles is just amazing. So, yeah, all the praise in the world from me to Jai. Not sure if the 19-year-old kid is really going to listen to a flog like me, but that's all right. Just as long as he knows that I apologise and I'll back you in, and the 44 might be on the Hawks jersey very soon, which is very exciting.
It's back.
I completely agree with Jace as well. If he's half of what the Rat was, I'd be ecstatic as well.
Yeah, no, it was a magnificent debut, and I love how he quickly adjusted to the tempo. Good, quick, clean hands. Very focused, strong. I think O'Meara was running around for half the game with a smile on his face just to have a bit more help on the inside. So
that'd be an interesting household. Those two live together.
Yeah,
doesn't get much better, does it? Real interesting and
learning from the best.
I wonder what he does in his free time, Jai. He doesn't own a PlayStation, doesn't own an Xbox, apparently doesn't own a computer. He's not real tech savvy, so I don't know. Does he look like the type that would sit around and play Scrabble? Not sure, but whatever he's doing's working.
Could be 100% the reason why he's so good, that he isn't spending all this time on the bloody technology and he's putting his time and effort into his footy.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not sure we should bag on technology, boys. We need it. So
there's no chance that Jager and Duke are walking through a doorway, even sideways together. You just don't fit that muscle-bound duo through a doorway. So, mate, it's nice to have some really good youth coming through the door and so quickly getting into that senior team. So we are winding it up. Chris, did you have any thoughts from the scrimmage?
Just that little one there. Should have been the rising star this week. I think he should have. I forget who got it this week, but he probably should have got it the week before. Who was it?
Off his own boot.
Yeah.
Won the game. Hard to dispute that.
Might disagree with that a touch, but you know, if Matt Rowe's still like the 4th or 5th favourite to win it, and he'll only play 7 or 8 games or whatever, mate, it's big Dukes to win. Tom Green and Nick Cox are probably standing in his way. So Big Jai has a couple of big games. If Collingwood fans can get Brodie Myercheck to get Mark of the Week over Shea Bolton, surely the Hawks fans can get Jai Newcombe the rising star.
Yeah, why not?
Surely.
Here we go. We've got Nick going here. There you go. I expect you to go out and buy the Hawks Legends edition Guernsey with Kanga on the back and put a number 44 on it, Nick. Get behind the club. Get some money in the door. So, awesome, guys. All right, let's just wrap it up on the tips. Actually, one Denver little comment, can't help ourselves. It was just nice. He got through the scrimmage well. Little bit rusty in the first, come along in the second, and good to see him just hitting the track again, running. So Denver, from Talking Hawks, wishing you well and have a good one this week, mate. But let's just wrap it up with the tips for the round. What do you got for margin in the Bombers Hawks game for Sunday?
I'll throw mine out. I'm going to go Hawks by 22.
Oh, that's a real Carlton result, that. Oh, 22. Jesus. Yeah. Hawks, 14. Bombers will keep it close because the umps love them, and that's a shout out to all my Bombers mates who will hate me saying that, but stuff them. Yeah, so
your
only
predictions
Tassie's
in the comments, guys.
That's it, absolutely. So Hawks by 16, and hope Cozzy kicks another bag. So kicked 5 against the Crows, so hope he does it again. What about you, Matt, considering we didn't ask?
Yeah, Hawks by 8. I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be a good tussle. There's going to be some good hard footy, and expecting it to go a little bit both ways throughout the match.
Changes? One of those arm wrestles?
I think it will be a little bit. But look, if we have to do it, I don't want another come from behind victory. I'd rather,
what are we doing? Are we kicking with the wind in the first quarter? Or we coming home strong with the wind?
Don't kick against the wind. Don't do that. Sean Red did that once. Don't do that. Although I think he did it at Adelaide Oval, so I'll quieten on that. But who kicks the sealer then, Matt? If it's 8 points, Big Jai. Oh, geez, we'd go nuts.
Just as a little bit of an outsider, Ceglar just came to me as the first thought there. So,
well, Seg's got the first goal last week. Got the late ball up, and first goal scorer. So as they sit right now, McEvoy's named at full forward with Seg starting in the ruck. So could be the opposite way this week. Yep,
lovely. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, fans. If you are interested, Talking Hawks is helped along by Base Compression, who are offering Talking Hawks fans a 20% discount. If you go to linktr.ee, Linktree/Talking Hawks, you can find the details there. A little bit comes towards Talking Hawks to help us do what we do. Big shout out to those others, Assertive Media. We saw shout on before. Supporting the Hawks, even though he's a Carlton man. We've become his second team, which is nice. A bit more hope here. Anyway, shout. So, and trading marketing, we've got this website ticking away. There's going to be a lot of articles from Reese and Jake and some other fans. So if you're interested in helping with any of the articles on the website, give us a shout out. Let us know on social media. But let's have a good game this week. Enjoy your Sunday viewing, Hawks fans, and I expect to hear a lot of noise coming out of Victoria if we're stuck again, not being able to get out there. But let's get around it this week, guys. Have a good one.
Yep, love it. Go the Hawks, and hope we send the Bombers back to Tullamarine real sad.
Yeah, I can go on private jet. See you later, boys.
That's it. Hey, guys.